Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the People's Game with myself and Shane. Shane, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, my friend. How are you doing?
Oh, living the dream as always, mate. Living the dream as always. Now, obviously,
As you
we
do.
have a lot to talk about. We
Yes.
will review the Premier League fixtures. We'll get onto that. But obviously, since our last videos came out, we've got the Carabao Cup draw and the Champions League draw as well. So we're going to try and squeeze it all into one.
Oh, and the Europa League draw. I forgot to mention.
Oh, bugger me. I forgot about that. Right. So
So I'll bring that up as well.
we'll try and squeeze all of that into one video and see how we go. Because obviously, there's a lot to talk about. Football world is a very fast moving world.
Yes.
There's a lot going on. So I guess we'll start with domestic competition first. Carabao Cup. What draws are taking your fancy then, my friend?
Well, for me, I think the two big ones, or three big ones, I should say. First is Chelsea Aston Villa.
Yes, two Prem clubs meeting each other. That's going to
Yes,
be a good game.
that is a very, very big draw. Just to touch up the second round, not many surprises. Well, unless you count Arsenal scoring 6, but and Norwich scoring 6 as well, which was also
Yeah, there were a lot of really big scoring games.
yes.
Which
Villa scored 6.
Didn't Southampton score like 8 or something?
Yeah, Southampton scored 8. Obviously, Burnley knocking out Newcastle on penalties. Watford beating Crystal Palace in the Premier League affair. Everton had a close one game against Huddersfield. So, but all in all, not that many surprises, I would say.
Nothing too crazy kind of popping out, I guess.
But yeah, so third round, obviously, Chelsea Villa will be a good game. Obviously, you probably won't see the full lineups being Carabao Cup.
Yeah, sure.
Man United West Ham is another one.
That's a good game
at Old Trafford. At Old Trafford, so that will also be a good game.
Yeah.
Let's see. You got Norwich Liverpool. I feel so sorry for Norwich.
I didn't even know they'd actually drawn Liverpool again. No way.
So Norwich at home to Liverpool. Liverpool heavy favourites in that.
No, I believe in Norwich. They're going to pull through.
Obviously, you got to look at draws like so Wickham going to Manchester City.
My local club. I live literally like 5 minutes away from the stadium. So I'm pretty buzzing for them that they're going to get a nice day out of the Etihad. I don't potentially think it's going to come to much more than that because I know obviously Carabao Cup is a competition that Pep takes very seriously and he will chuck the first 11 out for it. So I think it'll be a good day out for the boys, but unfortunately, I think this is about as far as they're going, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really see any other upsets. Obviously, Wimbledon going to the Emirates is a good job for Wimbledon. Rochdale going to Burnley. Oh, Wolves Tottenham will be a good match.
Oh, the Nuno Espirito Santo derby again.
Yes. So
wow.
And when we get into the weekend review, we'll touch on Wolves, especially. But yeah, not really much in terms of. I can't really see that many upsets happening, but it will be some definitely good games. I think Chelsea, Villa, United, West Ham, and Wolves, Tottenham for me will be the ties of the round. I think.
Sure. I mean, I think it just depends how seriously teams are going to take it. I guess.
Yes.
Right? There could be one of those things that like, all Premier League clash. They could be really good games, or they could just kind of chuck the kids out. And I mean, who knows how good a game it's going to be. So yeah, I'm like you. I'm really hoping for some high quality games, but we'll just have to see. I hope they do take it seriously because I mean, the amount of games you actually have to win as like a Premier League team to win this trophy is really quite small.
Yes.
So I'm surprised it's not a competition that a lot of like the smaller teams maybe take a bit more seriously.
It used to be such a prestigious cup.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know. I don't particularly know like what happened with it. I think a lot of the big teams, as we keep mentioning, I think it's their chance to put out their second string and see what they can do. Yeah. In a full 90 minutes, try and get, and those players can try and play their way into the first team.
It's a good opportunity for fringe players.
But for teams like, I don't know, let's say teams like Wolves, West Ham, Southampton, teams like that, good chance of silverware.
100%. And I mean, West Ham are looking really good. This would be a solid chance for them to make a really deep run. And even if they only book themselves like a trip to Wembley, I mean, I say only, obviously, I'm sure the West Ham fans would be buzzing for that. So, yeah, I mean,
obviously, for my sake, I hope West Ham don't win. But,
I mean, for sure, yeah. Okay, let's go with Villa then. But it is something I think these teams should take a bit more seriously. And I mean, just from a viewing and a sporting perspective, I really hope they do. Because, like you said, there could be some juicy matchups if they do take this seriously.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate. And then obviously, by the time the FA Cup comes, we'll talk about it. But I feel like also the FA Cup's kind of losing its value a little bit. But I think that kind of rekindled with Leicester winning it last year. But
yeah, I think that added some of the magic back in.
I think like for example, when Birmingham won the League Cup against Arsenal, and I'm not doing this to troll you Arsenal fans, honestly, but when Birmingham, but when Birmingham won the League Cup, that was such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think it might just be because Man City have been winning it for the past 4 or 5 years. That might be why it's losing a bit of value. But, I hope, I hope that it brings back some value because, it's still an English trophy at the end of the day, and it really should be as prestigious as not as much as the FA Cup, but still should be higher valued than what I think what it is now.
Yeah, I get that. And I mean, the thing is, obviously, there's been some really good cup finals in Carabao Cup, Capital One Cup, whatever it is. But the thing is, the ones that stick out to me are the finals when Bradford Swansea was the final of the Carabao Cup, because that was wild. Who on earth would have predicted that? That was a wicked final. And I think it's, I think it is a very British thing, isn't it? To always kind of be slightly rooting for the underdogs, right?
Yeah.
So when you do get a final like that, I find that so much more exciting than it's Man City versus Liverpool again, or whatever. I love those types of stories. So yeah, fingers crossed some of the smaller teams can hopefully cause a few upsets, take it quite seriously. Wickham are going to knock City out in their own backyard. It's going to be mental. It's going to be absolutely insane.
Right off the bat is Group A, which is the group of death already.
We've got one.
Well, I don't know. Actually, Group B kind of has a run for its money. So Group A, we have Club Brugge.
Okay.
Manchester City.
Oh.
Paris Saint-Germain.
Oh.
And RB Leipzig.
Oh my God. That's literally Man United's group from last year. They've just changed the Manchester club.
Yeah. And obviously it wasn't Istanbul actually here, I think.
Yeah, it was actually here instead of Club Brugge, but God, that's a juicy one. Oh,
that is a very juicy group. I don't think right off the bat, PSG and Man City will be the two clubs that qualify. I have no doubt in my mind. I don't think Leipzig are as good, especially they lost their manager. They just lost their captain to Bayern Munich. So
and Upamecano's gone as well.
Yes. So
yeah, they've had obviously we'll probably touch on big transfers and whatnot in another video. But yeah, I get that. I mean, I know obviously they're in for some other players, and I'm sure they're going to recruit smartly like RB Leipzig seem to do.
Yes.
But that's a lot of a successful team to go missing.
That is a PSG, obviously, with Messi. That is also
my God, I forgot that happened.
That is a Man City, obviously, with no striker. Still no striker. Not that it stops them from scoring any goals, which we'll touch on.
I mean, yeah, they'll still batter you nonetheless. So
but I would, just off the bat, I'd give Man City first, PSG second, as the two teams that will qualify. It's also going to be interesting to see how it goes, obviously, because from this time of this recording, Mbappe is still a PSG player.
Yes. What have we got? Just under 2 hours left of the window now.
But he's not exactly a happy bunny. We will talk about that in the transfer video, most likely.
Yeah.
So Group B, which is, oh my god, I look at this group and I'm like, what the fuck?
The thing is I feel like it's almost the same as the transfer window, right? I feel like every year there's normally one massive, really juicy transfer, whereas this year it's all been crazy.
It's all kicked off.
Champions League draw, there always seems to be one group of death, whereas this year every single group just seems really stacked. I don't know what it is, but every group seems really good.
This was like so. Group B, we have AC Milan.
Okay.
We have Atletico Madrid. We have Liverpool.
Oh my god.
And we have Porto.
I mean, Porto last year, they knocked out, was it Juve they knocked out? Because we played them, I think, didn't we?
Yes, it was Juventus.
Yeah, I was trying to think. That wasn't Benfica, no, that was Porto.
Yeah, so that was a Pepe-driven Porto.
Because, I mean, even, if you looked at that just as is, you'd be like, oh, well, Benfica are definitely, not Benfica, oh my gosh, Porto, you'd be like, oh, they're definitely going to finish last. But, I mean, heroics they pulled off last year. I don't think you can even write them off of that group, to be honest.
Well, this is the thing, and like AC Milan, for example, like obviously we knocked them out in the Europa League last year, but that was a close tie over 2 legs. Yeah. Thankfully, Pogba kind of saved our skin that game, in the second leg. But this is such a hard group to call, and this is gonna be obviously we'll touch on it more when the transfer window. But this is an Atletico Madrid with Antoine Griezmann.
Or potentially, yeah, that's in the works.
With a potential Antoine Griezmann. So this is going to be very, very tough to call.
I'm going to go Liverpool.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Porto, AC Milan.
I will go the same, but I'm going to switch Porto and AC.
I think I think a lot of the group could be very interchangeable depending on.
Yeah, but this again, like.
What a group stage that is. That's phenomenal.
So Group C, not as exciting. We have Ajax, Besiktas, Borussia Dortmund, and Sporting Lisbon. Sporting Lisbon obviously was in Group Pot 1 for winning the Portuguese league.
Yeah.
However, I see Dortmund and Ajax going through.
I would say so. I think that's still got potential though, because as much as I always kind of look at Dortmund as like, if I had to support like a German club, I've always liked Dortmund. I think they're quite a smart club. They always bring like youth talent through.
Yeah.
And they're always a really exciting club to watch, but they've always got like a really big upset in them. Like I feel like every couple of weeks, you'll always hear about Dortmund losing to someone that you've never heard of. And it's like, okay. So any group with them, I'm always a bit like, I feel like they should win it, but who knows? So again, obviously of the 3 groups we've had so far, that's probably by far the least star-studded, I guess. But I think there's still potential for that to be quite juicy.
Yeah, so we'll move on to Group D. So Group D is Inter Milan, obviously without Lukaku.
Inter Milan that's been stripped.
Yeah. So Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Sheriff, which got to give massive shout outs to for them just for qualifying.
I mean, fair
for the group stage, so fair play to them. For once, Shakhtar Donetsk didn't draw Man City.
I know, that's new, isn't it? We're making progress.
So that's new. So they'll be glad to not see Man City, obviously seeing Real Madrid instead. Not that much better, but
I'd rather face a Real Madrid than a Man City, to be honest.
So I think it's kind of obvious. Inter Milan, Real Madrid. I think Inter Milan, even without Lukaku, will still have too much.
Yeah, I think they've still got a pretty good quality squad. Obviously, I know they've lost a lot, but I guess you'd imagine. I guess just looking at the caliber of the rest of the group, they should be all right. So Yeah, I'd tend to agree with that.
So Group E, we have Barcelona, we have Bayern Munich,
Oh my god.
we have Benfica, and we have Dynamo Kiev in Group E.
I guess you'd assume that Barca and Bayern would go through from
Yes,
that.
I would have Bayern top in the group.
Yeah, I would also put them over a Barcelona. Obviously, going through a rebuilding process at the moment.
Well, they're having to get rid of a lot of players.
Yes,
You know,
it's weird, Barcelona, right? Isn't it? It's so odd. I feel like you just associate Barcelona with best players in the world and prosperity and doing well, and all of a sudden it's like, this obviously years and years of doing stuff badly has obviously caught up with them.
Yes,
it's very odd. It will be. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they do this season. Obviously, I know they've got off to a pretty good start in La Liga, but league campaigns and a whole year in football, it's a long time and a lot can happen. So
yeah,
they're going to be interesting. But yeah, I think Bayern top, Barca second.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll be the case. So Group F, which is obviously Man United's group. So we have Atalanta, Manchester United, Villarreal. So repeat of the Europa League final, and Young Boys.
Okay, so
I look at it from obviously a fan perspective.
Yeah,
not as hard as last year.
Mm-hmm.
However, we can't treat Atalanta lightly because going forward they are really good.
Yeah, again, they've got an upset in them.
Obviously, Villarreal beat us in the Europa League final, and I don't think they deserved to win. However, they did win, and they will probably park that yellow bus again. I'm just saying.
If there's one thing Unai Emery knows how to do, he knows how to win European games of football.
Yeah.
So you can never take him lightly.
Yeah, and then obviously Young Boys probably will be the whipping boys of this group, most likely.
Yeah.
You would think so. I still think Man United will top the group. I think with the additions of Sancho, Varane, and Cristiano,
you'd imagine you would have too much to top the group.
We'll have too much. And I would have Villarreal second, as you said. Unai Emery just has a knack with European games.
He just knows how to grind them out. There's just something about him. He knows how to.
However, I would not be surprised if Atalanta did come second.
Yeah, I think, as much as it pains me to say it, I do think Man United should top that group. Whether they do or not, it obviously remains to be seen. But like you said, I just think the stars in that lineup and the firepower you're going to have, you shouldn't not top that group.
Yeah.
I think I'd also chuck Villarreal second. Obviously, group stage football is very different to knockout football.
Yeah, of course.
That's kind of where Unai Emery earns his.
Well, it's going to be interesting because obviously there's no away goals.
No, that has happened, hasn't it? So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think again it's an interesting group. It could easily go to one of those three teams. Yeah, I think the Young Boys are going to have a fun group stage.
Yeah. So Group G, not the most exciting, but we have the French champions Lille, we have RB Salzburg, we have Sevilla, and we have Wolfsburg.
Again, that's not a bad group.
It's not a bad group compared to the other groups. It's nowhere near as exciting.
Yeah, but I think there's four teams in there that are genuinely all fairly evenly matched. To be honest, like just hearing them get read out, I can't think of one team that I'm like, yeah, they've got that, because I know Lille have been kind of picked apart this year, haven't they? They've lost a lot of their title-winning team.
Yeah. I would. I'd probably give it to Sevilla to top that group. And you know what? I think Lille second, but this could go in any order, really.
Yeah, I think I'd agree for those top two. But yeah, that anyone could win that group. Anybody could win that group. That'll be a decent group.
And then last but not least, we have your boys, Chelsea. So we have Chelsea, Juventus, Malmo, and Zenit St. Petersburg.
Okay. I think Zenit and Malmo, we should be I don't think we should have any problems against them. I feel like those might be famous last words that come to bite me in the back, but we'll see. I think Juventus is going to be interesting. Obviously, having lost Ronaldo, that's not just, we've sold a player. That's Ronaldo, who arguably without them, they don't even get top 4 last season. So that's a huge loss. And I think they're going to be interesting. I'd like to say I think we'll top that group with Juventus second.
I think so.
Because Juventus at the start of the season have been a bit dodgy.
Yes, they have. And the only thing is, I will say about Zenit St. Petersburg is, as much as you should beat them, when it comes to Russia and their pitches, they're never exactly the best.
No, this is true.
So you've always got to be careful there. However, I mean, if it's not Chelsea Juventus, there's something wrong, really.
Yeah, it would be very FIFA-esque for Zenit to win that group and then Chelsea finish bottom or something.
Yeah,
so,
but all in all, this group stage looks exciting.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what's gone on this year, but normally there's one group that I'm like, yeah, that's wicked. And then every other group I can be like, right, yeah, top two. This year just looks juicy. Even the groups that aren't as exciting are still really good and quite unpredictable. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Same. I'm excited.
It's going to be really good. Obviously, we'll take a look at Europa League draws as well.
Yes, which I have got in front of me. So I think I'll just quickly go through the draws for this one. So Group A, we have Brøndby, Lyon, Rangers, and Sparta Prague, which is actually quite a decent draw.
That's not a bad group, yeah.
Because Brøndby, Danish sides generally do well in European Cup competitions. Lyon, obviously French outfit. Rangers, Scottish champions.
Yep, they did well in the Europa League last season, actually.
Yes. So just a quick thing. Top 2, I'll give it to Lyon and Rangers.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Group B is actually a not bad group. So we got AS Monaco, PSV Eindhoven, Real Sociedad, and SK Sturm Graz. So that is, I'm not sure about Sturm Graz, but Monaco, PSV, Sociedad would be
I was going to say they'll be there or thereabouts. That's a good group.
I'll give it to Sociedad and Monaco. I don't hear much of PSV these days because of Ajax being just the dominant force in Dutch football.
The only thing I really know about PSV is that Mario Götze plays for them. Does everyone remember Mario Götze?
The one that played
for him?
The one that played for Dortmund?
Yeah, the one that won the World Cup for Germany in extra time against Argentina.
Yes.
Everyone, what happens to him? He plays for PSV. I know that. For following him on Instagram. I was obsessed with him on FIFA 15 or whatever. So I'm gonna root for my boys PSV and go Sociedad second. But yeah, that's a decent group. I like that.
So we got Group C, which is the first English team. So we have Legia Warsaw, we have Leicester City, we have Napoli, and we have Spartak Moscow.
That's a tough group for Leicester.
I still think they'll qualify.
They should do. Yeah, I think
Leicester Napoli is probably the way it'll go. Which way round you don't know.
Yeah,
but I think Leicester going forward will have too much. But Spartak and Legia Warsaw. And it's just Napoli being obviously with Koulibaly still being there.
Yeah.
It's just how Leicester would break up Napoli. But yeah, I think Leicester and Napoli should be the two that qualify.
Yeah, I mean, Napoli have got some really good talent. Obviously, their squad is starting to get a little bit aging, but you can never write off people like Lorenzo Insigne, Dries Mertens. That's insane talent by itself. Obviously, like I said, they are obviously coming towards the end of their careers, but really good players nonetheless. So yeah, you'd imagine those two would top it.
Yeah. So Group D, we have quite a decent group actually. So we have Antwerp, Frankfurt, Fenerbahce, and Olympiacos.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad. Not a bad group at all. Obviously, whenever you go to Turkey, you expect the fans to go absolutely wild.
Oh, they're a different breed.
They're different breed when it comes to Turkish and their football. So,
I'm gonna go Frankfurt Fenerbahce. I think
I'm gonna go Olympiacos because Olympiacos always seems to do well, and I'll go Fenerbahce second.
No, fair.
Group E, a decent group. So we got Galatasaray, Lazio, Lokomotiv Moscow, and Marseille.
Oh, that's juicy.
That is a pretty decent draw. That's actually pretty hard to call.
That's tough. That's really tough. Wow.
I think it's between Galatasaray, Lazio, and Marseille, but
yeah. I mean, which order you put those in there? Those are also interchangeable, and that could go any way.
That could go any way. So just random. I don't know. Lazio and Marseille. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's going to be beautiful to watch.
Yeah. Group F. There's only I know 3 of these teams just by names, but I don't know the fourth one. So we got Ludogorets because I know they've been in the Champions League.
Yeah.
We got Midtjylland, who I know because Man United played them in Europa League.
Yeah.
We got Crvena Zvezda. Never heard of that team. And then we got Braga, who is another team I've heard.
Oh, Braga. Okay. Doesn't sound like a bad group. It's definitely not one of the more interesting.
No. So I can't comment because I don't know the teams.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be honest, my knowledge of the teams probably isn't good enough to comment on that. But let's go Mitchell and Braga. Come on, people, slaughter me for knowing nothing about these teams. Do
it. So we got Group G, which is Leverkusen, Bayer Leverkusen, Celtic, Ferencváros, never heard of them, and Real Betis.
Ooh. Leverkusen and Real Betis. I think Celtic get knocked out.
Yeah, I would probably go the same.
Because I think Celtic, again, it's obviously last year compared to how the Scottish League normally goes, they were shambolic.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably rebuilding a bit.
Because I've always wanted to discuss this because obviously, just a quick thing, Celtic Rangers. There's always been talk about how well they would do in the Premier League.
Yes.
I think they would be bottom 10.
I would potentially go relegation fodder, I won't lie.
I don't think they'd be that bad, but I don't think they'd get top 10.
No, I would quite comfortably say that. I just think if you need any metric, the thing that I always go back to is Scott Sinclair, when he was at Man City, couldn't get a look in and was kind of viewed as a bit of a meme by everybody.
Yeah.
Gets signed for Celtic, and all of a sudden he's like best player in the league, and everyone's getting a bit buzzed about him. So I mean, I don't know. It's always interesting, and I think there's a conversation to be had for it. But yeah, I would easily agree with you. I don't think they'd finish in the top 10. I think I could easily name 10 Premier League teams that I think would be better than them.
Yeah, I agree. So last group, which is West Ham's group.
Oh, I forgot they had Europe.
So we got West Ham, Dinamo Zagreb, Genk, and Rapid Vienna.
I mean, there's some good teams in there.
There's some good teams in there. I'm going to give West Ham to qualify. Whether top or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would expect West Ham to go through. I'll give it to Dinamo Zagreb. But there's those 3 teams that are in West Ham group I know of. And they won't be easy. And it all depends how West Ham treat the Europa League. Obviously, with their squad that they've got, it's going to be interesting to see how they do. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I think Moyes will take it very seriously.
Yeah, I think based on the teams around them in that group, I think West Ham probably should be qualifying from that. But that's a good group. There's a lot of, there's teams in there that could quite easily throw the spanner in the works. So I think probably all four groups, or all four teams rather, probably would be quite interchangeable. Obviously, like you said, it really depends on kind of how West Ham approach the competition, really, and how squad fitness will let them approach the competition. Yes. So we will see. But a lot of interesting draws. I guess just for sake of argument, shall we have a look at Spurs' group in the Europa Conference League?
Does Spurs have a group? I don't know.
Actually, I don't know much about the Europa Conference League. I'm assuming there's a group stage involved.
I will look this up now. No, it's just okay. Well, no, we do have a group stage. Hold on. Conference League. Okay, here we go.
Exciting.
So, okay, I've got the draw in front of me.
Okay.
Oh my God, Roma in here.
I was going to say there's some fairly big teams.
Okay, so Tottenham have Rennes, who obviously just lost Camavinga. Yeah. Vitesse and oh, come on, Spurs should go through with that. Come on now.
They should be winning that group. Yeah. Obviously, we'll see. It would be very Spursy if they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, there are also good teams in this. I mean, Roma's in here. We've got Alkmaar in here.
Feyenoord aren't a bad team. Like there's
Slavia Prague, Copenhagen.
There's a couple of all right teams hanging down in there.
Basel. So what did they get for winning the Conference League? Do we know?
I think it's automatic quali into the Europa League next year. Like if you win the Europa League, you get Champions League qualification. I think. I don't really know a lot about it.
So here we go.
It's probably something I should read up on.
Here we go. The winner will gain a place in the following season's Europa League group stage if they have not qualified for the UEFA Champions League via the domestic competition. So they go straight in. They go straight into the Europa League. Okay. I will not be surprised if Roma wins this Conference League just because of Mourinho.
Oh, true. I forgot he was their manager now. That's big. And again, not to toot Chelsea players own horn. Well, he's not a Chelsea player anymore, but Tammy Abraham has started on absolute flames over in Italy. He's looking insane. So
I still think he was a bit stupid for selling them, but
I honestly, mate, I totally agree with you. I think that was a really, really dumb decision. But like I said, unfortunately, Chelsea don't consult me before selling players, which I think is a bit rude. But it is where we are. So that'll
one second.
Yeah, sure, man.
Sorry, 1 second. I have a very annoying cat. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Don't be mean to the cat. That's not very nice.
This is going into the.
That's going into the blooper reel. Yeah, we'll do that well. Right. So after all of that European and Carabao goodness, that does bring us on to the weekend's events.
Yes.
And what even is there to say about Arsenal at this point? I genuinely just feel a bit sorry for you guys. Obviously, let's just
I don't
tear the bandage off. Man City 5, 10-man Arsenal 0. Oh dear. Now I'll be honest with everyone here. I forgot to note down all of our predictions. I promise I'll do it for next week. I'll be a better YouTube presenter. I promise. I do remember though. We both said that Man City would score 4 or 5. We thought it'd be a bit of a drumming. I made the stupid prediction of saying Arsenal will get their first league goal. That was really stupid. I don't know why I said that.
No, I said it would be a clean sheet. Arsenal weren't scoring.
I guess the main talking point. Okay, well, no, first of all,
it is the red card, probably.
Just before that, because it really stressed me out when watching the highlights of the game.
Okay.
Gundogan's not the biggest man in the world.
Oh, him getting jumped. Yeah.
The fact that he's scoring a header in the box right behind the centre. I mean, it just, please.
Well, there was questions asked with like Kolasinac even being in the goddamn team.
I swear they've been trying like all summer to get rid of him.
Well, this is what Arsenal fans have been saying, and then like they were like, "Oh, but he's suddenly in the starting lineup." It's just like, how did that make any sense?
It is baffling, isn't it? And of all the games to start him in as well, just chuck him in against Man City.
Like,
yeah, fine.
Like, I don't know, but yeah, the red card, Xhaka doing Xhaka things again. Okay, he got the ball, right?
Yes, he did.
Still 2-footed tackle.
Yeah, you can't just throw yourself in like that, because if he doesn't get the ball, that's a leg breaker. That's an like potential career-ending challenge. That's horrific.
Yeah, and Arsenal fans must be so freaking frustrated because they think they're selling Xhaka. Then he signs a new contract.
Yeah.
Then he's made captain. Now he's doing shit like this. It's typical Xhaka, really.
Because I'm pretty sure that it was even like Fabrizio Romano was like, Xhaka to Roma is pretty much done. And I was like, oh, all right then. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we've given him a new deal. And it's like, okay, it's like, if you're trying to bump his value up for Roma, then I guess. But it's like, oh no, now he's not going.
Now, you know what?
By the way, he's going to captain us now. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure.
You know what? It's just very surprising because there's two things. Because obviously, there was like, I think, was it last season? I'm pretty sure it was last season. Oh, the season before. No, season before where Xhaka got taken off and he wasn't happy again taken off and he called that palaver, threw the captain's band on the floor and something like that. And obviously Arsenal fans were happy with that. What I personally think is I think Xhaka stayed because of Partey's injury.
That's a fair argument, I think.
Although if it was me, I'd like get rid of Xhaka, invest in another midfielder. Obviously, they signed Odegaard, but like someone that fits a Xhaka type role.
Yeah.
However, I'm not obviously in charge of Arsenal.
I mean, fair play to him for coming back from that. I mean, to be fair to him, that's that was obviously a really big deal at the time. And to be fair to him, he's worked on it. He's come back from that, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, I just think that Roma deal would have just been perfect. I think it was just his time to move on.
Yeah.
And then that would have been it. And like you said, they could have reinvested that into someone else. Obviously now that's it. Yeah, like you said, Xhaka doing Xhaka things.
Yeah.
Shocking challenge.
And other than that, really, it's just
it's just a shocking game.
City doing little things. I mean, Arsenal didn't do themselves any favors, but
no, it was poor.
And now really the bottom of the league.
Spurs are top, but we'll get onto that in a moment. God, what life as an Arsenal fan right now? It must not be ideal. Newcastle Southampton ended up obviously turning into quite a juicy affair.
2-2.
It was a pretty good game, to be fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, main, I guess, talking point would be Newcastle score with literally like 2 minutes left to go.
Yes.
And somehow don't see it out.
It was a definite penalty.
Oh, for sure. There's no way it's not a penalty.
It was a definite penalty.
Because I remember thinking, like, to be fair, when I watched it at full speed, at the time, I was like, oh, what a cracking challenge. But then, they slow it down and it's like, oh, no, he genuinely just cleared him out there. Yeah, no,
yes.
It's a stonewaller. So.
And it just goes to show how I said in the beginning, I think Newcastle going forward are not that bad. Defensively, they're awful. That's their problem.
Game was literally a representation of that. Because I swear, when they went ahead of Southampton the first time they scored like straight away, or I mean, even giving away that penalty, like I said, that was 2 minutes after they'd gone 2-1 up.
Yes,
it was pretty much instantaneous. So yeah, obviously. As we're recording this, there's like an hour and a half left of the transfer window. If they can get in a centre back or something like that, that'll be a wicked move. But I don't think they're going to. So I think this could be an interesting season for Newcastle. Everton, Brighton. Obviously, Everton winning 2-0. Finally stopping Brighton on their little winning streak. Obviously, there was the Calvert-Lewin Richarlison penalty drama.
Yes. I will say though, I will pat myself on the back. I think I said 2-0 Everton, so I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that.
I'll double check when editing, and if you did, I'll give you a little gold star or something. So yeah,
but yeah, that was it.
fair play.
That was very interesting because obviously Richarlison had the ball, then apparently Calvert-Lewin was demanding it of him, and by the looks of it, Benitez was just like that Richarlison give it to Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, because I think Calvert-Lewin is their designated penalty taker, isn't he?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, Richarlison full on lost his head. It wasn't like oh, fine, I'll give him the ball. He was fuming, like he was ready for a scrap. So that was interesting.
Which was interesting because obviously there was rumors of like if Mbappe went to Real Madrid, Richarlison would have been the replacement at PSG. That was the rumor.
Oh, okay.
So it was maybe his head was turned, but I think it was just kind of petty.
It's just one of those things, isn't it? Like, in the heat of the moment, you can just end up getting upset over stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it, it's probably because, I guess I don't think Richarlison has scored yet this season. So maybe he's just trying to think like, right, if I can just get this penalty, get myself on the board or whatever. But, it's a team game. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
I mean, they won the game. So,
exactly.
And Everton, under Benitez doing what he does.
He's a smart manager. He's a smart manager.
Whether or not Everton fans are still happy that he's there is another thing. But
I get why they're upset. But I mean, he's doing the business. He's doing what they need him to do.
You know what? I think for Everton fans to be like fully get behind him, I think they need to get into a European place or win a trophy.
I was gonna say, I think if he got them to like as far as like a day out at Wembley in like FA Cup or Carabao Cup or something like that, I think that would do bits for him. Because I think at the moment, obviously, someone like Rafa Benitez does not need to prove himself to anyone. We know how good he is. He's a class manager. But obviously, when you're going into somewhere that's probably gonna be pretty hostile towards you, obviously that's different, right? You've got kind of almost like an allegiance to prove to Everton at this point. So yeah, it's going to take some convincing, but I think if he can pull off like a cup final or something, I think I think that would do a lot to get him on side. We will see. West Ham Crystal Palace 2-2. Crystal Palace got some goals on the board.
This was a surprise.
Yes, agreed. Obviously, man like Conor Gallagher scored both goals, so it was basically West Ham Chelsea 2-2.
I saw the second. Was it the second goal he had that turn in the box?
Yes,
that was a good finish.
Solid. He looks really good.
Yes,
and because I've seen a couple of people saying he should be at Chelsea, like learning his trade, and it's like, no, I've seen what we do to youth players, and it's not.
Yes,
great. I'm really glad he's at Crystal Palace and is actually plying his trade and not just warming a seat on the bench. I'm really glad for him. He looked really good. Obviously, West Ham, Mikel Antonio, looking as good as ever.
But if he gets injured,
yes,
what happens to West Ham?
Yes, obviously at the time of recording, again, there's only like an hour and 20 minutes to the window, so I doubt there's going to be too much movement from now. Obviously, I know they've signed Zuma from us, which I was pretty gutted about, but solid signing for West Ham. But yeah, it really felt like the place they really needed to strengthen was that backup striker, and that just hasn't been done.
No.
So yes, I think you do have to wonder that if anything does happen to Antonio, where do they go from there? Because obviously that was the kind of concern we all had last year, and luckily he managed to stay mostly fit. But obviously last year they didn't have European football to worry about. So it's an interesting one. But I mean, yeah, I'm happy for Crystal Palace because I do want Vieira to do well. Like their 2 games before that, they'd actually played pretty decent football. They just hadn't been able to kind of finish their chances. So I'm glad they've finally got some goals on the board.
We'll touch it on it in they have bought a striker, Palace.
Yes, is it Edward from
Celtic? Yes,
could be a good move.
So would be interested to see, and if Palace are lacking goals, maybe he can bring it. But we'll see. Scottish Premier League and English Premier League are 2 different kettle of fish.
Very different things. I mean, I did actually tweet on my Twitter, obviously. Okay, let's move on. But I did tweet out saying, it's deadline day tomorrow. I think I tweeted this yesterday, and I was like, what's one bit of business you'd like to see your club do before the window ends? And my friend that supports Crystal Palace literally just replied to me, "Get a fucking striker." So I'm assuming she was on the right wavelength. So yeah, I'm happy for Palace. I'm glad they've got a point on the board. That also means they're above Arsenal in the table. Right, moving on. So Norwich versus Leicester.
I'm so gutted because I had 2-1, but it was the other way around.
I do remember, again, I forgot to write the predictions down, but I remember we both said that Norwich had the ability to cause an upset here. And my God, they almost did. They almost did.
I think the big talking point for me in this game is the Norwich disallowed goal.
Yeah.
I have seen it.
Oh, was it because Todd Cantwell was
in the way?
Schmeichel's
now the problem I've got is where the ball ended up in the net, which was the far corner. I don't think Schmeichel gets there anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously it's become the norm now that a player is in front of the goalkeeper during a corner. It's just become the norm.
Yeah, you crowd the keeper.
You crowd. I think it's because to stop the keeper trying to come out and punch it, etc., etc. So it's become the norm.
Yeah.
I can understand why it's been given as not a goal. I can completely understand it.
Yeah.
However, this might just be bias kicking in because of my big soft spot for Norwich. I don't think Schmeichel would get there, which is my argument. But again, you don't know that because
that's what I mean. It's all vision, hypotheticals.
His vision might be blocked, but I don't know. Norwich are just the masters of their own downfall, really. Big mistake leading up to Leicester's first goal, and you leave Vardy free, and it's just. I mean, unfortunately, Norwich did not look good, but
they look better. It's an improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, still not great.
But it's going to be interesting to see because we have a massive 6-pointer after we come back from international break, Norwich v Arsenal. So
we're literally never going to have any Arsenal fans watching this channel. It's going to be so deserved. Oh, God.
Oh, dear. But
is that a 6-pointer? What on earth is this season so far? Right. Anyway, next game, which I thought was going to be a pretty good game. And it was, to be fair. It wasn't too bad. Villa won, Brentford won. Again, on the face of it, that looks like a pretty boring result. But if you offered Brentford fans 5 points from their first 3 games in the Premier League, they would be buzzing with that. That's ridiculous. If you told them they'd have 5 more points than Arsenal after 3 games in the Premier League, they'd be gassed. I mean, I'm so proud of little Brentford.
I'm really trying to make sure no Arsenal fan watches.
I know, I'm really sorry. We'll stop this Arsenal slander. Maybe, probably not, actually. That's a lot.
No.
But yeah, solid start for Brentford. I'm just really happy for them, to be honest.
Tony got off the mark.
Yes, Ivan Toney's finally got his first goal. I do think that's going to be not like a turnaround because obviously it's only been like 3 games, but I think now he's got that first goal under his belt, he can be like, I think he can actually just kind of crack on now. Like, obviously it's always tough being like the main man from a newly promoted team because I think you're always worried that like, I need to get that first goal. It's not happened yet. he's got it out of the way by match day 3. So I think now, not that the pressure's off. Obviously, 5 points from 3 games is wicked, but there's a long way of the season left to go.
Yeah.
But I think now he can just relax into it a bit more and just do what comes naturally to him.
Yes.
And he's a good striker. We all know he's a good striker. So the goals will come. I think. I still think firmly Brentford will be okay. But yeah, 1-1. It's a good result for both of them, to be honest.
Oh yes.
I think both teams are going to be happy with that and won't really have too many complaints, I don't think.
No.
Good. Okay, so next game. Oh, baby. Chelsea Liverpool. Now, I did think this was going to be a good game. And
I said 0-0, to be fair.
Yeah, you did say that the defenses were going to define it. And I think it was either going to be an attack-defined or a defense-defined game. And to be fair, I think in a way, it was. Obviously, Kai Havertz's goal,
Brilliant
whether
header.
he meant to do it on purpose or not, absolutely outrageous.
Brilliant header. Brilliant. I think he means that.
I think so too. I don't know if that's my fanboy saying that, but I believe he meant to do that. Absolutely phenomenal header.
Yeah.
Like, that's outrageous.
Then we have the big talking point.
Okay. What do you think it was a red?
100% it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Because without that handball, that ball goes in.
Yeah.
I think the reason it's been classed as a red is because it was going to be a goal. And it's not the first time in the Premier League where a hand has prevented the ball going in the net and it's been a red. He's got a bit unlucky because it seems to hit his knee first.
Yeah.
Into his arm. And that's the argument where I'd be like, yellow card. I think the reason he's got the red is mainly because he stopped the goal.
Yeah,
I think it's purely that reason.
It's a tough one. Obviously at the time, I was absolutely fuming about it. Of course I was, because up until then, we'd looked so good. We looked so good in that game. Unfortunately, though, I would have to admit, by letter of the law, he has stopped a dead certain goal with his hand. I get there's nothing he can do to move it out of the way. Like you said, I think with it touching his knee first, there's not really anything he can do. But by letter of the law, it is a penalty. It is a red card. It is what it is. It's annoying. It's really annoying. But, it just is one of those things.
Yeah.
I was annoyed about it, but, letter of the law, you can't really expect him not to get a red for that. Obviously, there's also the argument that it does look like he kind of flicks his arm outwards to kind of get it out as well. So that doesn't help him look less dodgy. So it was annoying. And
it was a shame because it was a good game.
Yeah, it was a shame. Obviously, Salah converts the penalty to make it 1-1.
Yes.
But then Tuchel kind of does what Tuchel seems to do really well and just set up a defensive masterclass. Like, when I was watching it, I was just getting such throwback vibes to when we beat City to the Champions League, because it was just, we were so good defensively. We were so good. We just shut everything down. And obviously Liverpool had a good number of chances. They're Liverpool. They're never not going to. You're never going to be able to stop them. But I think considering we only had 10 men on the field, I was honestly, it's insane. Obviously, attacking football is more like pleasing to watch than defensive football. But
of course,
wow, I couldn't believe the shift the players put in that second half, because honestly, when we got Reece James sent off, I thought, yeah, that's it now. We're going to get battered like 4-1. But the substitutions were perfect. Obviously, Kante came off for Kovacic because he looked like he was carrying a bit of a knock. And obviously, we brought Thiago Silva on, which was meant, unfortunately, Havertz had to go off. But no real complaints, obviously, other than the red card. And it's only 1 point. I get that, but no.
a point at Anfield is a good result.
Exactly. 1 point at Anfield with 10
considering the circumstances as well. But to end off this match, I have a question for you.
Okay.
As of right now, is Tuchel the best manager in the Premier League?
Oh.
Because there's a valid argument to say he is.
Oh, that's not a bad.
Oh, I personally will say no because he hasn't won the league.
Yeah, I think that's a fair argument. I think
is he right up there? Absolutely.
I would probably say that I think he's in my top 3 if I had to pick managers in the Prem.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably put Klopp and Guardiola above him. Obviously, like you said, just for what they've already done in the competition, but you can't write him off. I think the effect he's had on us has been unreal.
Yes.
And I mean, to marshal a defense so well that with 10 men you still walk away from a point at Anfield.
Yeah.
That's outrageous. Name me another team that does that. That is outrageous. We'll come back to that question when we win the league at the end of the year. And then we'll go from there. So next up was obviously Burnley Leeds 1-1.
Surprised. I am anyway.
Which way did you think this was going to go? Did you think this was going to be like a Leeds battering Burnley?
I think I was more surprised how I think Burnley should have won that game.
Oh, I can't remember much about it. I'm not.
Rafinha, I don't know how he missed.
Oh yeah.
But from some of the highlights I've seen, Burnley played very, very well, and obviously Bamford scores the equalizer, and I don't. Part of me doesn't even think he meant to flick it in, but like obviously he scores. I want to touch on him being in the England squad, but I'll get to that when we get to the United game.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a massive argument here, and I'm quite pissed off about it, to be honest with you. But you know, I'm surprised. I thought Leeds would. I think I picked Leeds to win. I thought Leeds would have too much.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Leeds ain't won a game yet, I'm starting to think: have teams figured out Leeds?
The thing is, I think it's just that obviously Leeds go very
gung-ho,
balls to the wall. Yeah, they'll throw everything they have at you. And the thing is, that can be tough to deal with. And I think that's obviously what they're kind of banking on, is that teams will be like, oh crap, everyone's running at me, I don't know what to do. But if you can resist that and then kind of play around it, all of a sudden you've got a defense that's kind of left wide open.
Yeah.
I do think they'll be okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I think people people know how to play against Leeds now, whereas I think last season they were almost a bit of an anomaly because there was no one really that played like
the way Leeds do.
Yeah, like obviously Liverpool and City do press a lot, but they're also still very regimented in how they defend, right? There's a very clear system, whereas Leeds will kind of throw that out of the window to just throw more pressure at them. So everyone was kind of a bit like, oh, Christ, like literally everyone is coming for me here. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how they get on over the course of the season. But we will see. Now, the only prediction I think I got right, Tottenham Watford. I said Tottenham win their first game in a row 1-0.
Yes, you did. You did.
And they did. To take them top of the league, obviously with Liverpool and Chelsea both dropping points.
I think we'll say this is Son did not mean that. No, he did not mean. I mean, I'm glad because of my fantasy team he scored, but like he did not mean that. He did not mean that at all.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, fair play to Tottenham. Fair play.
You know what surprised me is how I knew it was going to happen just because of Nuno. It's how solid they look at the back.
They look very
and that's with Eric Dyer being there. I mean, and like, I'm going to put it out there. I don't rate him as a footballer. I just don't. But you could, haven't conceded a goal in 3 games, winning them all 1-0, top of the league, only team that's not lost.
Credit where credit's due. He's getting the most out of what he has at his disposal. He's doing a good job, I think. So fair play, Tottenham.
Not gonna last, but
yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. Because we're all coming for you.
Yes.
Then finally, final game of the weekend, obviously involving your team.
Yeah.
I know on Twitter you were quite active about this, not in a particularly happy way, regarding the first 45 at least. Wolves 0, Man United 1. Obviously, Wolves have done kind of the opposite of Spurs and have lost all 3 of their opening games 1-0.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate. I didn't get to watch all of the game. I watched parts of it. And Wolves looked very much in this game. I felt kind of bad for them. They obviously went on to lose it, to be honest. But obviously, this is your team's involved in this. I will let you have the floor.
Okay. So Wolves, as I said in the preview video, Wolves have played very well the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Right. Got very unlucky. 3rd game in a row, they've played really, really good football. Just their finishing is just non-existent.
Yeah.
Adama Traore is an absolute beast.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we had a Wan-Bissaka clearance, one of the best clearances I've seen in a long time, off the line. Then we had the David De Gea double save. I don't know how he saved that. I don't know, but
yeah, that's prime De Gea coming out.
That's prime De Gea. Okay, obviously, first half was awful, and it proved why we need a CDM. Why we don't have a CDM, I don't know. Obviously, McTominay being injured has not helped, but like play Matic. I'd rather Matic there than Fred. Right,
I kind of forget that Matic still plays professionally. To be honest,
I'm just losing my patience with him. He can't pass. He can't pass. He got freaking bullied. Not by Traore, but by I think it was like Trincao or anything. I was just so pissed off. I was just like during the first, I was like, oh, like please take him off, please take him off, please take him off. Oh no, it wasn't gonna happen. But I wanted him off that pitch.
Mm.
I wanted him off that pitch. Okay. Big talking point is the goal.
Yes.
Obviously,
Ruben Neves went down in the build-up.
And then obviously Greenwood scores.
Yes.
Before I get into the foul and whatnot, this is where I get pissed off with Southgate. How Bamford gets in over Greenwood has pissed me off so much. There's no way in living hell Bamford gets in over Greenwood. I personally think Greenwood's not going in because of what he did when he was in the last England squad.
Oh, what, the incident with him and Phil Foden?
Yes.
Fair.
Right. I don't see how Greenwood has scored every single game, right, and has not got in that squad. As over Bamford. I don't understand it.
If you're going off of this season's form, he's arguably our most informed person that I'd put as centre forward.
Right. I just don't understand. Look, I'm sorry, Leeds fans. This might be biased again because, I am a United fan. I don't see how Greenwood's not in that squad. I just don't get it. And that pissed me off to no end. But, yeah, let's get into the foul. Now, at first looking, and by judging by the replay, it didn't look like he touched him, Pogba.
Yeah, contact, if any, looks very minimal.
It's not our fault. Wolves kind of slept because they thought it was a foul and we carried on. Right, that's not our fault. Goalkeeper, by the way, should be doing so much better with that Greenwood shot. But
he'd had such a good game. I was so gutted for him that the one time he kind of made.
Yeah. Now, obviously, looking back, and I've seen the still image, Pogba does touch him.
Okay.
Whether or not it should have been a red card, I don't believe that whatsoever.
Oh no, I'd never said red.
Obviously, Graham Souness said it was a leg breaker. Well, Souness has a Pogba agenda. I don't care what he says.
No, that's fair.
You're right. Now, all I will say is, looking back on it, do I think it's a foul? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Looking back on it now, seeing the image and the fact he does touch him, and it is on the shin pad, right?
Yeah.
Looks like a foul. I think the reason it doesn't get given is because Neves looks at Dean, realizes he's not getting the foul, and then goes down.
Yeah, the reaction's very delayed, isn't it?
That delay, I think, has cost him that foul. I generally think because he looks at him, winces, and then after a few seconds he then goes down. Mike Dean's probably thinking, well, you might be playing acting here.
Yeah, if he goes down instantly, I think that's a different case.
Fair enough. Obviously, they could have gone to VAR. Do I think that justice is done because of the Southampton game? Kinda, but it's two different games. It doesn't really matter. Did we deserve to win? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We did not deserve to win that game. We played absolutely awful, and I'm so glad Mason's on form.
Yeah, to be fair, considering the start of the season, he's dug you guys out a little bit. Yeah. He's been on top of his game.
However, it shows a good sign of playing awful and still winning.
That is the sign of a team that wins leagues. As much as I hate to say that, that is a thing that you have to do to win the league, and that you have to be able to turn up to those games when you've been not necessarily dominated, but when you've been the worst team, and you still have to be able to dig out a result from that.
Yeah. And obviously, the last bit is we now hold the away game record unbeaten, which is, you could say a lot of that was no fans, which is a valid argument, to be fair.
Yeah.
However, that's not really our fault. And I'm still astonished, and because it was brought up in the stat, Bruno Fernandes ain't lost an away game yet.
Sorry.
He's not lost an away game.
Oh my God, that's mental.
In the Premier League, at least, anyway. Ever since he's joined, we haven't lost an away game in the Premier League.
Well, I really hope that doesn't continue, but we'll see. But fair enough. Obviously, it's a solid 3 points for United, and I'm sure you'll take them.
Oh, I'll take them after the performance we had. Absolutely.
So obviously, just to really quickly, we'll run through the table. Then obviously, this is only 3 games, so calm down. I'm sure it's probably going to look very different come the end of the year. But that doesn't mean Tottenham are top with the only 100% record left, which is mental. But their statistics are quite satisfying to read. Played 3, won 3, scored 3, goal difference 3. Nice. West Ham second. Oh, to be fair, even on goal difference, we're all tied as well. My God. So all the way down to Liverpool in 5th, obviously Chelsea and United. We're all on 7 points with a goal difference of 5. Everton also on 7 points with a slightly worse goal difference. So Rafa Benitez working the magic. City in 7th, although I doubt that'll last very long. Brighton 8th, Leicester 9th, and Brentford ending out the top 10. Oh, go on, bees. Villa 11th, Watford 12th, Southampton 13th, Palace 14th, Leeds 15th, Burnley 16th, Newcastle 17th, and then Wolves, Norwich, and Arsenal, who are bottom purely because their goal difference is as bad as Norwich's.
And Norwich have scored.
But Norwich have scored, yeah. So that is that. And
do you want to do a performance of the week and obviously
yes, I totally
flop
forgot.
of the week?
Yeah, let's do that. So should we do flop first? I feel like we always do flop first. Yeah, go on then. Who's your flop of the week?
Granit Xhaka.
I wanted to pick someone from Arsenal, but I felt harsh.
Arsenal in general. But I'm picking Granit Xhaka because look, you're 2-0 down. I think they were 2-0 down by the time they had that red card.
Yeah, 2-0.
What are you fucking doing? I'm sorry, but like, what are you doing?
It's just Granit Xhaka doing Granit Xhaka things, isn't it? Really, that just is what that is.
I don't know, man. It's just Granit Xhaka. I gotta give it to him. I just don't know what he's doing.
No, fair. I'll allow that. I think I'm gonna leave off Arsenal just for this video. I've already laid into them a little bit, so I'll leave off with them for this section because it feels a bit harsh calling them flops against City because no one expected them to win it anyway. Let's be perfectly honest. I think my flops of the week, I'll go for Newcastle, or I guess potentially more poignantly Jamal Lascelles, just because leading a game or scoring a goal that puts you in front with literally 2 minutes to go and not holding on to that is criminal. So it's not great defending. It's not a good way to see out a game. So I would have to put Newcastle down for that. And if that's going to be the standard of their defending all season, then I really do worry for them big time. Obviously, I get they got their first point of the season. That's wicked. But to lose 3 points with like a minute and a half to go is criminal. Can't be having that. Performance of the week then.
I'll let you go first this one.
Okay. I am going to go with a potentially slightly biased pick. I am going to go with Chelsea. Obviously, just for the sheer point of we went to Anfield, we had a man sent off before half time, and we still somehow came away with a point. I just think that's crazy. I think we looked really good, obviously, before the sending off as well. We put ourselves 1-0 up. We were looking good. We were pretty good at shutting down Liverpool. We were looking comfortable. But I just think for the exact opposite reasons that I chose Newcastle for flop of the week, I think defensive masterclass. It was unreal.
Yeah.
I'll try not to do it too much. I don't obviously just want to sit here and be like, Chelsea are the best, because I get sometimes we're probably going to be crap. But whilst we're doing good and not on the verge of sacking another manager, I think we deserve it this week.
Yeah. So I was going to go with Chelsea's defensive performance for sure. But for the sake of not having to do the same, that was this disclaimer. That was my pick. I'm gonna go based off more so for the first 3 weeks. I'm actually gonna give it to Tottenham.
Oh, I mean, fair. Consistency-wise, they're pulling it out.
To be fair to them, you can't get a worse first fixture in Man City.
No, and I guess similarly to Arsenal, who had Tottenham down to win that.
100% deserved to win that game.
Yeah.
Then to back it up with another 1-0 win, and then to back it up again with another solid 1-0 win. You know what? Like, fair play to them. Like, you can't ask for anything more. And I know this is more of a collective thing rather than just a week. Yeah. But again, it is Chelsea based on the week. But I'll give it to Spurs.
That's understandable. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect from Tottenham going into this season. I guess obviously there was a lot of uncertainty in regards to whether they'd keep Harry Kane, whether he'd be there or not. So obviously there was a lot of uncertainty around them, and obviously with the change of bringing in Nuno as well. But he looks to have really got to grips with that job and kind of steadied them up and sorted out a lot quicker than I expected him to.
Yeah.
Obviously now they're just being a very typical Nuno side. They're pragmatic. Yeah. They're getting the job done. They're solid and organized defensively. Good for them. I'm as happy for them as a Chelsea fan could be for Tottenham.
And they've just it will be interesting to see what happens if they concede first.
Yes, obviously there's a lot of scenarios they haven't encountered yet.
Yes.
So it will be interesting to see.
Again, but that's just a wait and see. They
yeah,
could go the whole season without conceding. I know they won't, but
if they just win every game 1-0, would they be the best Premier League team ever? That's potentially a conversation for way down the road when and if that happens. But anyway, I think that is everything we need to talk about in today's video. Again, obviously, sorry this one is really long. There's just a lot we needed to cover. So, like I said, we'll be doing a preview for next week's fixtures as well. That will be coming out, as well as a roundup of all the transfer news. I mean, like we said many times, I thought this window was going to be so very boring. And it's kind of turned out to be potentially the most nuts transfer window I can ever remember being a part of. So for the next 50 minutes that we have of the transfer window, I'm going to sit on nothing but Fabrizio Romano's Twitter. And we will go from there. But obviously, thank you guys very much for watching. If it is the first time that you are seeing both of our gorgeous faces on your screens, then please hit that subscribe button. Please like the video, and obviously give us a comment if you think we're chatting crap about anything, or if you've got an opinion, or if you just want to say you like Shane's t-shirt. Whatever it is, ping it down there, all right? Interaction is good. If you've made it this far into the video, then fair play. You're an absolute real one. Yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
Laters.